We arrived to where the altar was supposed to be, but to my surprise, it was nothing like in the diary. Judy said it was an altar in the middle of the woods, but we were standing in front of a museum in a very quiet place. It was 3 in the morning, so the place was closed and guarded, obviously. I thought it was an altar in the woods.
It was, yeah. Back when Sir Richard Allen was alive. It's been centuries, you dumbass.
Okay. So, how do we get inside?
I'll distract them, and then we sneak in.
Jeremiah used some vampiric tricks to distract the guards, and we got in. It was empty. Not a single soul in sight. Jeremiah sighed.
Ugh, she's not here.
You just know that?
I told you I'm a good tracker. She's not here. We'll come again in the morning, like normal visitors.
We got out the same way we got in. As we walked back to the hotel where we stayed for the rest of the night, I could see a large old castle in the distance. House Allen, I supposed. I don't know if Jeremiah could read my thoughts, but he suddenly replied.
Yes, that's our old place. Would you like to stay there for the night instead of the hotel? That would be great, so we can alert every single hunter within a 10-mile radius.
What?
They put surveillance all over the castle. They don't want us to go anywhere near it. They knew I wouldn't fight them, so they've been pushing their luck a little bit.
We went back to the hotel and slept. I couldn't really sleep. My mind was so crowded with thoughts and running different scenarios with different possibilities. So many possibilities. I didn't know what to do or how to feel anymore. I was trying to save the people from the person taking their blood before killing them. But now, I was saving that person. I didn't even know what I was saving her from. When noon came the next day, we both got ready and went back to the museum. It was no longer that quiet, empty building we were in last night, rather full of people of all ages and too loud. Jeremiah pointed me to the receptionist and asked her where we can find the altar of Sir Alan Henry. She told us to take the second corridor to the left and then go downstairs, 1 floor. I showed her a picture of Judy and asked her if she saw her before. She nodded and told us she was the one giving the guide at the altar. She mentioned how much knowledge Judy had about the altar. We thanked her and we were on our way. So, this is it. Any last thoughts or regrets you want to share before we go? I asked Jeremiah. He put his hand on my shoulder.
Kid, I want to thank you for everything. You were kind to my daughter and kept her safe for years. She was no longer the angry monster she was when she left me. You also helped me get a very heavy weight off my chest. And I don't know how to repay you for that. I am sorry we had to meet the way that we did.
He chuckled before giving me a fatherly hug. Something I never felt before. We went downstairs and we saw there was already a tour in place. We quietly blended in, not wanting to alert her. She had her back to us while talking about the history of the altar. The altar was a bright dark crimson, as if it was painted with blood. It had a circular bowl at the center, with small angelic-like creatures kneeling beneath it, lifting it on their shoulders. It looked creepy to me. Throughout the entire tour, we were avoiding her and getting out of her sight. She didn't notice us, but I was sure she felt a familiar presence. She looked much different than the last time I saw her. She now had neck-length black hair and dressed so formal. She was still as beautiful as always regardless. I looked at Jeremiah, and I noticed he was trying his best to hold his tears all the time. When the tour was over and everyone left, she went behind the altar and sat on a chair to rest. We learned from the receptionist earlier that she went by the name Sandra now. Excuse me, Miss Sandra? I have a question. She turned and looked me straight in the eye. She stammered as soon as she saw us both. She looked terrified and shouted at Jeremiah.
Are you fucking out of your mind? Why did you bring him here? What game are you playing right now? How did you find me? What?
Honey, relax. I came willingly. I want to help you, I said, raising my arms, trying to calm her.
Help me? What do you think you're doing? I left you the diary so you know why I left and why you should not try to find me. What is wrong with you?
Why did you come here? Of all the places that you could have ran to, why here?
You don't get to ask me that question. You are the reason I'm on the run in the first place.
Can we just leave and talk somewhere else? I can see you're very upset, but let's go somewhere safe to continue this.
No, I'm not going anywhere. And you two, get the hell out of here now!
Adam is dead, okay? I killed him. He was a hunter. And he was planning to kill you.
Oh, good. And then you saved me the effort of having to kill him myself.
What? You knew?
Of course I knew he was the one who killed Adrian. I've been tracking him ever since. He was thrown out of the guild because he stole and drank their life elixir, which is only given to their leader. That's why he was still alive for that long. But of course, this is of no concern to you, Father. Why would you try to hunt down your son's killer anyway? It meant war with the hunters.
She looked accusingly at Jeremiah, who was now looking shamefully at the floor. Look, Judy, I know you're upset with him, but he wants to save you.
You don't know what he did. I've been running for more than 60 years. I could have lived happily with you if it wasn't for him.
I walked to her and put my arms around her. You could have lived happily with me if you were honest with me. You never would have met me if it wasn't for him, I said, and I could feel her anger rising. I knew she wouldn't hurt me though.
Why is he here? Why are you back?
Sweetie, I never wanted any of this to happen, believe me. Let's just get out of here, and we can talk all we want.
As we made our way out, we found two men standing at the exit. Hunters. They haven't seen us yet. I looked at Jeremiah and he started backing away. Judy, on the other hand, was getting ready to slash her way through them, but I stopped her. Stay with your father. I'll take care of them.
What? No, you're in over your head. You don't know what they're like.
Don't worry. Trust me. Just take your father and go through the window. I made my way to them. I forgot one tiny detail. They knew about me. As soon as they saw me, they came running at me. I turned to run, but I found a third huge man blocking my way. They circled around me, and I could see one of them pulling a knife. Then, from out of nowhere, all the lights went out. Complete darkness. I heard a horrible shriek from above. I could hear the men screaming as sounds of ripping was audible. I felt a huge force pulling me up, and I was now in front of the window. I looked behind me, and I saw Judy. She was now different. Her mouth was covered in blood. She had elongated clothes in place of her nails that were covered in gore. But she still had that innocent look in her eyes as she looked at me worried. She slowly returned to her human form and spoke softly.
Are you okay? I trust you and I am well aware of your capabilities, but trust me when I tell you this is way beyond your skills.
I nodded. Lights came back, and I can now see the horrific display of gore and savagery she left below. People began to scream and panic. Jeremiah looked at us both in anger.
Let's go!
2 hours later, we were in that tavern-like diner again. Judy was now calmer than earlier.
So, let me get this straight. You two morons tried to save me by leading them directly to me? Wow, what a great idea!
Well, going to where they are seemed to make their job much easier, genius.
Okay, everyone, calm down. Judy, why are you here?
I'm trying to find a way to remove our family curse. I don't want to keep living like this anymore.
And how do you plan to do that? Wash the altar from the bloodstains?
I'm trying to find the stranger.
Are you insane? You can't! No one can find him. He finds you. And no good come from dealing with this cursed deity.
Okay, say you found him. Then what? You think he's just going to unmake you a vampire? Have you thought of the consequences or what he might ask in return?
I'm still working things out. It's not like I found him already.
Maybe you're not desperate enough for this wish. You like what you are.
I swear, one more word and I will show you what I truly am.
Don't forget, I am still your father. Show some respect.
Well, father, maybe you should have shown some responsibility and protected me instead of sending me on the run.
She got up angrily and left. Let me talk to her. I told Jeremiah and got up and ran after her. Judy, wait! I pulled her arm, but she snatched it, almost sending me to the ground.
Get away from me! God, why are you here? What did he tell you? How dare he use you to get to me?
Hey, please, calm down. I've been meaning to find you ever since I read the diary. I forgive you, I said, trying to put my arm on her shoulder. She was shaking from the cold, so I took off my coat and gave it to her. She was looking at me with those eyes again. Tears filled them, but they still glimmered beautifully under the moonlight. I grabbed her close and kissed her. Don't leave me again. You're the only person I have left in this world. She nodded and buried her face in my embrace as she cried. I haven't felt any of this love in so long that I wish that time would just stop at this moment, forever. I gently stroked her hair and kissed her head. Jeremiah came out and looked at us. I could see him smiling through tears.